All right, this is Ubaid on behalf of Electronics, and in this video, we'll be looking at how a shift in supply curve impacts your price and quantity for a product being supplied. All right, so when we talk about a shift in supply curve, we're not talking about movement along the curve. Okay, assuming this is your supply curve over here, and assuming that this is your demand curve over here. Okay, we're not talking about movement along the curve. Okay, that has to do with price and demand. As price goes up, demand, supply goes up, rather, excuse me. Okay, so we're not talking about movement along the curve, but we're talking about the shift of this curve itself. So if this curve shifts because of things like technological change, okay, where technology improves and the cost of production goes down, okay, or if the curve shifts because expectation about the future prices. Okay, let's say somebody is expecting the crude oil prices and the gasoline prices to go up in the future. As a result of which, what's going to end up happening is the supply curve will shift to the left. All right. So when the supply curve shifts to the left, okay, what's going to end up happening is your demand, okay, will take a hit. All right. If the demand is inelastic, and this is close to your vertical line, we talked about this in the past few videos. Okay, so if this is close to a vertical line, okay, assuming that this vertical line is infinitely inelastic, so this is infinitely inelastic. So assuming that this demand curve is close to your infinitely inelastic vertical line, okay, what's going to end up happening is if the supply curve shifts to the left, okay, your new supply curve will look something like this. This is your S1. All right, now at S1, the equilibrium point will change, okay, because at S1, this is your new equilibrium point. Suppose this is your E0. This will become E1. This will stay as price over here, your vertical axis, and your horizontal axis will be quantity. In this case, quantity supplied or demanded. Now, if you look at the equilibrium, and if you notice, okay, the quantity has been reduced, okay, but has been reduced drastically, okay. Uh, there is a slight reduction of the quantity, okay. However, the price has gone up significantly, all right. So the quantity demanded has gone down a bit, but the price has gone up drastically. And this can be explained, okay, using the concept relevant to short-term inelasticity. All right, so this is short-term inelasticity. Now, when we talk about short-term inelasticity, what's going to end up happening is, okay, because it is a necessity. Let's say this is food, water, shelter, or energy. So transportation, let's be talking about crude oil or gasoline, for example. Let's say because this is a necessity, okay, the demand curve in the short run will be inelastic. Okay, it will be inelastic. So demand curve will be inelastic, which basically means that it takes time for the consumers to make adjustments. Okay, especially when it comes to a basic necessity. I mean, when it comes to crude oil and gasoline, for example, if a person does have a vehicle or does have a car, and he has to pay high prices for gasoline because of a reduction in supply, okay, what's going to end up happening is this person will take some time to find alternatives. Okay, maybe he might have to um, arrange for carpooling, whatever the case might be. Okay, if the crude oil prices go up and the gasoline prices go up, your demand for gasoline for energy, for example, will go down. Okay, but because this demand curve is inelastic, it won't be reduced drastically, so it won't take a big hit right away. Okay, so demand will go down, okay, in the short run. Your demand, okay, goes down. We know that your price will go up, okay, and that you can notice over here where the price is, okay, more than the price at equilibrium zero. Okay, at E1 the price is higher. Okay, and the price is significantly high compared to what the price is over here, which is at E0. All right, so this is for an inelastic curve. Now, if you were to look at an elastic curve, and this is what's going to happen in the long term. Okay, so this is long term. Okay, we're looking at an elastic curve. And when we talk about elastic curve, what's going to end up happening is, okay, the demand, okay, will be elastic, which means it will close in on the horizontal line, which represents your infinitely elastic curve. Okay, so say for example, this is your horizontal line. Okay, and your new demand curve will look something like this, for example. Right? So it's close to your horizontal line compared to this curve over here, which is close to your vertical line. All right, and your horizontal line represents infinite elasticity. All right, which basically means that the quantity keeps on changing regardless of the price. This is the price over here, and this is quantity. Okay, which means that this curve basically tells you that the price won't change a lot, but the quantity will change drastically. All right. And that's what happens when the supply curve shifts. All right. So let's assume that this is your supply curve over here, S0. And if this S0 becomes S1, if the supply curve shifts to the left, let's say because of technological change, maybe because of change in the economy, okay, maybe because the cost of production has gone up, okay, maybe because of politics, it could be because of a global depression, okay, so on and so forth, whatever the case might be. Okay, if the supply goes down, all right, and this becomes S1, okay, notice, okay, the price does not change a lot. Okay, this was price at equilibrium over here, and just about it, you have your price at your new equilibrium at PE1. Okay, so this is your E1 and this is your E0. All right, so at PE1, your price does not take a drastic hit. Okay, but your quantity gets reduced drastically because this is your quantity over here. Let's assume this is Q0. And this becomes Q1 over here. That's your new equilibrium point. Okay, and notice the difference between quantity when it comes to your inelastic and elastic curve. Okay, when it comes to your inelastic curve, the quantity has not been reduced drastically, but the price has gone up significantly. Okay, that is because the person is not able to arrange for alternatives, for options in the market, as a result of which he has to pay a higher price. Okay, so when it comes to your elastic curve on the other side, because the person makes arrangements, okay, arranges for options, arranges for his insurance policy, so to speak. Okay, as a result of which, okay, the person's able to arrange for alternatives and is able to reduce the consumption altogether. And when he or she reduces consumption, okay, the quantity consumed, okay, demanded goes down significantly compared to your inelastic curve, compared to what this person was able to long run impact. So long run, it says long run impact. Okay, so long run impact when it comes to your shift in supply. So this is shift in supply. All right, so long run, okay, this has to do with shift in supply. Okay, which basically means that as the individual is able to arrange for alternatives, okay, the quantity is reduced drastically, which means the quantity demanded, demand goes down drastically, but the price does not take a hit, okay, as much as you see over here in the first graph over here. All right, so this is quantity, okay, goes down more than the price. All right, so that would be it when it comes to your shift in supply. Okay, on behalf of V Electronics, this is Obey. Have yourself.